Hey everybody, Dustin Dales at the Funny Bone Comedy Club, 168th and Dodge, Village Point Mall. This weekend, we've got an Emmy Award winner. He's worked on some Emmy winning shows. He's also been on Colbert a lot. You've seen the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I always want to say the Colbert Report. I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's working out for him.
No, yeah, a little bit. Even he calls it the Colbert Report. We have to, before every taping, we have to slap him like, this isn't the same show. Yeah, no, it's been kind of crazy. Well, thanks to all the stuff in the news, it's like, man, like every day there's something getting written for you. It's crazy, and we're doing it in the Ed Sullivan Theater, which is really awesome. That's like an old-time theater. The Beatles played there, Elvis played there, and the stage is really cool because it was the theater was built in like 1922, and they used to have a vaudeville show that went through there, and the Ringling Brothers Circus used to go through there, and they literally bring elephants on the stage, and so if you go underneath the stage, there's a passageway, and there were these massive columns. They had to put columns under the stage to support the weight of the elephants.
Wow.
And there's a big elephant like painted on the wall as sort of like a tribute to that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Is that next to the Stephen Colbert pane glass window?
Yeah, exactly.
I saw that.
That's they do all that's digital mapping, and that
oh, really?
The dome is all digital mapping. Yeah, because that dome was covered up when Letterman was in there, and they took all of the. There was like this drop ceiling that they put on it, and they took it down, and they discovered this massive cathedral dome with like religious ornaments and stuff like that, and a lot of cocaine. They stored a lot of cocaine up there. I don't know why, but that's where they put it now. And it's like this. So they redid the whole theater. It's beautiful. If anybody, actually, some people have Facebooked me already coming to the show this weekend at the Omaha Funny Bone, who went to see the show in New York. If you're in New York, you should go see a taping. It's really cool. Yeah.
I've had a chance to see Jimmy Kimmel. I'm trying to make the rounds to every talk show host.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Kimmel's unfortunately the only one I've gotten to so far.
Yeah. Have you gone out to New York?
No, I just been out to L.A. That was it.
You should come to New York, and we'll get you over by the theater. When are you going to be there? I'm not going to be there, actually, but just come anyway and just stand out the theater and call my name. No. Yeah, you should come. You should come and hang out.
I will.
Your wife?
Next time I go to New York, I'll bring the wife, and I'll call you.
You're not married? You don't have kids yet?
Not yet. Well, you never know what's going to happen, next year. You never know, Paul.
Don't do it if you're
You gonna put some money on whether I have a kid or not?
You're a very handsome man with tremendous hair. That's a good, thick head of hair. No woman can resist that. I would not have a kid. I have a kid. Yeah, it's a big mistake. Well, because you have to care for them, feed them, show them love. No,
like a dog.
Yeah, really? Because I treat my dog better. Speaking of which, my dog finds me annoying. We got a new dog. We adopted a dog, and whenever I walk into the room, he immediately gets up and he walks into another room. Like, I don't mean after, 5 minutes. I mean, the minute my foot hits the floor, he's like, this asshole again. And he walks into that room. I swear to God, I don't know if anybody, this happens to them at home. And then if I walk into that room that he just walked into, he looks at me like, really? I just got comfortable in here. You're in that room. I'm in this room, asshole. And he's a big dog, and we live in an apartment. It's like, he's like a 60, 70-pound dog. Wow. He actually, when he wants to have his way with the furniture, he put his a sock on the doorknob. Just he's more like a roommate. Yeah. And then people the dog we had before that, we had to put the dog down, but we had a thing because I get when people are if I'm buying something, if it's like a consumer situation or a service that I'm like a doctor visit or buying a TV or whatever, I get into people's. If they're obnoxious, I say something. Let me put it that way, right? My wife's like, you got to let it go, but I can't, right? So we had to put our dog down. So it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we go to this all-night vet office, and there's nobody else there except the technician. And we think we have to put the dog down. And the woman goes, oh, that's going to be $300. That was like the first thing out of her mouth. And I thought, ooh, well, that's a lot. I'm going to just let it out on the highway. I mean, come on, really, it's a dog, everybody. It's, And then I go, well, before we do that, can we maybe the doctor just check the dog out? She goes, oh, that's going to be $150. And I'm like, and now it's like, I'm getting agitated because this is like an emotional moment. The dog means a lot to us. And she's throwing numbers at me like it's like I'm buying a TV at Best Buy, right? Right. And so I go, well, can the doctor just, and I start doing this with my fingers, can he just look at the dog? And I'm doing that. And now my wife starts to see that I'm going to get wound up. Mm-hmm. And he goes, no. She goes, no, you got to pay up front. I go, what? This is ridiculous. And I snap. You want me to pay $500 to put a dog down? That's highway robbery. You're taking advantage of an emotional situation. I'll get a pillow at home. I got Bed Bath and Beyond and Beyond. That's what it'll be. And she goes, no. I go, and then I really snap. And my wife is like, oh, here we go. Even the dog's looking at me like, oh, kill me now. I can't deal with this. Just kill me now. So I go, I'm not getting taken advantage of. You guys are ripping people off. $500 to kill a dog. I blurt it out. I'm going to find a cheaper place to have my dog killed. Right. And then I hear myself saying that. And I'm like, I got to move to the woods. Like, I can't live like this anymore. You know what I mean? You ever have those move to the woods moments, right?
I've had a few of those.
Yeah. So we take the dog home. Now, we had said goodbye to the dog. To my son, rather, wakes up. He had said goodbye to the dog. Now, the dog suddenly reappears the next morning. Like, why is the dog here? And my wife's really funny. She goes, because your father's a raving lunatic. That's why. So we take the dog to the ASPCA. And that dog... place. They're very nice. I go, how much to put the dog down? The guy goes, $85. I went out. I got 3 other dogs. I had them put down too. It was such a bargain. Like I couldn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can't. It's like you go, you see a nice sweater, right? Like at the Gap or whatever. You're like, oh, I don't really need 2 more, but I'm screwing myself if I don't buy 3. Yeah. So I killed a few dogs that day. But that's actually a true story. I got into such a thing. It's like. I'm constantly getting into these confrontations with people. I think I'm going to change the world. It's like ridiculous.
Changing the world's for another day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's kind of interesting because last week here at the Funny Bone was Cedric the Entertainer, and you just had him on your podcast, Paul Mecurio Show.
Yeah. He's a great guy. We worked together at ABC, and I was working on a show that he was hosting, and he's a really great guy. He's got great stories and how he got his name, and he kind of did it just on a lark stand-up and was like really good, and I think the story is like they couldn't remember his last name and they introduced him as like Cedric, and then the guy blurted out the Entertainer, and then he just said, all right, well, we'll go with that, and he stuck with that, and I think he sang a little bit and danced and stuff like that. He's a really good guy. He's not black and he's not that big, although it's all a fake. He's a skinny white Jewish kid from Brooklyn, but he really pulls it off. Yeah. No, he's a really great guy. It's a really cool conversation. It's a 2-parter, and the second part's gonna land this Monday, so you guys should check it out. And in that one, I make him cry. I ask him like questions about like if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you got a little emotional. The tree question.
Yeah, exactly. No, the second one we do, we both are getting massages by other men. That's all I'll say. And there's no video, but there's a lot of grunting and weeping. No, it ended up being a really cool conversation just about his career, how he got started, and all the stuff he's been doing, and the King of Comedy tour and all that stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. People should check it out. Yeah.
Now I'm just picturing you two rotating, massaging each other with the microphone in the middle.
All right, my friend. Like just before we started shooting. Yeah. Like you don't know what I'm talking about. Like he doesn't know with the thing and the thing. Yeah.
You know, another guest you had on there I thought was really cool. It was Paul Reiser.
Yeah.
And he he's kind of been out of the public for a lot, but he came back for Stranger Things this last year, which is a huge hit on Netflix. Did you guys have a chance to chat about that?
We talked a lot about this show he's doing, There's Johnny. Are we that one or that one?
This one is what's going to be the final product. This is just a teaser for Facebook Live. Hello, Facebook Live.
Oh, okay.
It's down there as a Facebook Live.
So I'm playing whatever. All right.
Play whatever you want.
All right, okay. Woo!
There you go.
He came through New York last year, and he was just promoting some stuff, and we had a great conversation. We talked for about an hour about stand-up and kind of how he got started and everything. And then he's got the show out, There's Johnny, on Hulu, which is set in the 70s, 1972, behind the scenes at The Tonight Show. And he's got like original footage from The Tonight Show of Johnny Carson, like moments, but then characters a la like the Larry Sanders Show in a way, playing different, like Tony Danza plays Freddie DeCorder, his producer, and he's really good in it. And so it's sort of a look at behind the scenes, and it's just a really cool, it was really well done, and it's like 7 episodes, that's all, but they're trying to get more made if it gets picked up. So we talked about that, but he's very funny and he's very dry, like, he's like very kind of like, he's kind of the way he is on stage, but just a little more conversational, and he's very, very quick, and he's got great story. And Larry Miller, who's the guy he started with, he's on my podcast too, and he's got great stories. He's got a story. They all started at the comic strip in New York City. Jerry Seinfeld, him, Reiser, Larry Miller, and a few others. And Larry Miller tells a story like, they were younger comics, and the bartender was sick, and it was a Friday night, and they were busy. So the owner's like, "Does anybody bartend?" And Larry Miller, like, one-time bartender, he goes, "Yeah, I can bartend." So he goes behind the bar. So the servers start showing up with, like, drink orders, like, complicated ones like Manhattans and old fashions. And he's like, so all he's doing is he's giving everybody beer. He's just giving everybody beer. And then he's getting complaints. And then they're like, just tell them that we're all out of liquor. So the whole night they just sold beer to everybody. And he didn't get any trouble. And he got a big tip, he said. It was pretty funny.
That's genius.
I'll
have to remember that.
Exactly. But Rise is really cool. That one aired about 3 or 4 episodes ago, so it's right there. It's all on iTunes, the Paul Mecurio Show. But there's a lot of cool ones, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astronomer, an astrophysicist. He's got a great story. The thing I like about the podcast and the long form is these people can really get into stories about themselves, So he tells a story about like how he was trying to make some extra money in grad school because he was getting his doctorate, didn't have any money, and he had some friends that were like, stripping for money, and he was like a dancer and in good shape and stuff like that. So he went, and he was going to consider it, so he went to watch his friends, and the first guy that came out wasn't one of his friends, but guy came out, and he takes all, music's playing, takes his clothes off, gets down to his thong, then puts lighter fluid right on his junk, and then lights his junk on fire, his thong, to great balls of fire. And that's what Neil deGrasse says, like, I think I'm good. I'm not going to do this to make extra money. But there's like really cool moments, pretty much, like Sugar Ray Leonard. I had him, and I said, like, the first time you got punched in the face really hard, did you say, "This is the stupidest thing a human could do"? He's like, no. He goes, I was a little dizzy for a while. He goes, but I thought it was really cool, and then I really got into it, and he talked about how Roberto Duran, that first fight that he lost, was because Roberto Duran got in his head, and Roberto Duran forced him to be the kind of fighter he wasn't because he got him mad, like he was taunting him. Mm-hmm. And one day in Canada, I think the fight was in Canada, they were in Canada promoting it. Duran was on one side of the street, and Sugar Ray and his wife were on the other side of the street, and Duran started like taunting him in front of his wife and saying stuff to his wife like, "Oh, he's gonna be an invalid, and you want to be with me," and blah blah blah. And he got him so mad, Sugar Ray, that when he got in the ring, he just wanted to street fight him, and that wasn't his style. That was Duran's style, and he didn't box his game, and he lost. He took him out of his game psychologically. So, like you get into things that you don't realize you get into. Talking about the psychology of the game, as important as it is to be physically, in shape and have the right tools and the right, process that, all that stuff. But like technique, so like there's Stephen Colbert, there's Bryan Cranston, Paul McCartney I had on. So there's like something for everybody, yeah.
It's a ton of great stuff. You got to check it out. It's Paul Mecurio Show, downloadable, iTunes, the works. Check it out.
Yeah.
That Sugar Ray Leonard interview, that sounds incredible. I didn't even know he was on there, so I got to check that out. But as you can see here, the holidays are coming up. Make sure that you come out to the Funny Bone, enjoy laughter in the holidays.
Don't be cheap.
Don't be cheap. You got Paul Mecurio here all weekend.
I got presents.
Presents.
What'd
you bring me?
I got a backpack. I'm gonna give this backpack away. I'm not gonna give this backpack away. There's so much good stuff in here. Actually, Omarosa from the White House, she's resigning, so she's going to be here all weekend. She's my opening act. I don't know what she's going to do, but she's just going to pick. She's just going to stand there and pick Donald Trump long fake blonde hair off of her thing, and then Charles Schumer's going to come and with his little reading glasses and put us all to sleep. Can we get a guy in the Senate can we get a guy to lead us that like looks ballsier than like your grandfather at Christmas?
They're needing some fresh blood in there.
Listen, don't have a kid, by the way, because here's the thing with the kid. Like, you got to be nice to, like, my son, I don't know, he was like 9, and my wife's like, you go father-son bonding weekend. We had he had a baseball tournament for 3 days, and I went. And at the end of the weekend, it hit me that I don't really care for the kid, because it's all about them. Every minute, you're going to see anybody we're in the hotel. You put a kid in a hotel, he's in the pool, he's out of the pool, he's in the pool, he wants a grilled cheese sandwich, and he's back in the pool, he's out of the pool. He's like this lame main attraction at SeaWorld, And then he's, and it's my Saturday too, but it's a Saturday night. I rarely have a Saturday night. I want to go to a strip club, and he gives me shit, Daddy, the lady on the pole scares me. This Jack Daniels is burning my throat, He's bitching about the weed. I mean, it's and look, it's free weed, and you're 9. You should be able to handle it. So I would recommend more dogs.
More dogs.
Yeah.
I will keep that in mind. More dogs. Thank you, Paul, for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it.
Good to see you. All right.
Merry Christmas, everybody.